Hello ladies and gentlemen, Coffee Doug here. Welcome to Saturday Rough Cuts. Thanks to Lee and her innovative ideas and running of the channel pretty much, well, we've decided to do some different stuff, which she has already told you. I'm sure a lot of you have seen her say this, but she's got some really cool ideas, and we're going to start doing things just a little different to spice it up, and we will be doing... I'm saying and a lot. And. We will be doing some comics, some movies, some video games, and all kinds of fun things. Different rough cutters doing different things. How does that sound to you? She has asked me to do some comic books because I like comic books. This week, I am going to be reviewing The Long Halloween. Just know that I will be giving no spoilers. I'm very big about that, unless I'm talking about maybe a current issue sometime or something that like is newsworthy, then I might, but I'll let you know. When I'm reviewing comics, I'm not going to ruin it for you. Jay and I were just talking, and he said something very pertinent, and he kind of put it best when he said, just try to sell the comic to a non-comic reader, as in get you interested. A lot of you are watching this channel for movie reviews, and you may or may not read comics, or yeah, most of you probably do, or you have dabbled in it. But if you haven't read them, then you might not want to because you think it's all about superheroes, or you have to already know what's going on, or it's too hard to understand. That's what I'm going to try to hammer in, that those are very big misconceptions and stereotypes about comic books. It is an amazing medium, an awesome art form. I think people should fully support it. I'm old, and old school, so I still go print on a lot of things, but if you buy it online or support the digital medium, that's fine too. So, alright, Batman Long Halloween. It came out around 1996, 1997. It took place over 13 issues, so it was one a month for a whole year, and it is the perfect Batman story to jump into, where you don't need really any prior knowledge of what's going on in the Batman world. It didn't take place with all the other issues. It was its own self-contained story, written by Jeff Loeb and the art by Tim Sale. I just got to show the artwork because it's pretty amazing. If you look at a picture of the Joker there, the artwork's awesome. The storytelling is just wonderful. It is a detective story, kind of like a noir, did I say that right? Like crime, mystery, thriller. It takes place right when Batman has kind of become Batman, and he's kind of learning his ways and, you know, learning how to do things. And while there are mafia wars going on in Gotham, he's trying to stop that, and he's also contending with a new killer in town called Holiday, who is killing people on different holidays. So every holiday that approaches is just stressing Batman the fuck out because he can't figure out who's doing it. He's fighting, you know, the mafia, and then he's learning, you know, he's kind of forming his relationship with the commissioner, the police commissioner, Commissioner Gordon, and there's a new district attorney in town, which a lot of people will know is Harvey Dent. And it's just, there's all these things going on in these issues, and it just makes for such a deep plot, and it really, you could read this multiple times, and that's what I love about it, and catch new things every time. You don't have to be a Batman fan really to appreciate it, and if you're an avid comic book reader and you don't really like Batman much, I'd still say this is one of the ones for you, because it's just different. It's really different than a lot of other Batman tales. One interesting thing about this too, and I noticed it right away, and I noticed it more and more rereading through it earlier, that The Dark Knight, the movie The Dark Knight, and Batman Begins, you could tell were strongly influenced by this book, by this particular story. I know Christopher Nolan has quoted a few stories, and he said this is one of them. There's other ones that kind of play into that, but definitely for like The Dark Knight, there's some scenes that are almost verbatim right out of here, and there's such good scenes in the movie because they were so well written in the comic. When Batman is talking to Commissioner Gordon and Harvey Dent, and they're trying to come up with a plan to stop the crime in Gotham City, and they can't figure out if the crime, you know, of the mafia has to do with what's going on with the serial killings and what's going on with other things going on in the Arkham Asylum, and it has a real creepy feel sometimes while reading it, and that's what I like. It just draws you in, like you feel like you're there trying to solve the crime with him. And speaking of the movies, just it relating to them, DC is real good with their animation. I think this would be the perfect formula for one of their animated films. I mean, live action would be awesome too, but I think an animated film, The Long Halloween, would fit just awesome into their catalog. It is a good Halloween book. I really like that. I do kind of regret that I never got to read it issue to issue, like one a month. I think that would have been cool. But reading it all in one sitting is very easy. I've read this multiple times, and I think the last time I went to a Denny's and just ordered some coffee, and I think I read all 13 issues in, you know, an hour and something or whatever, just drinking coffee and reading the book, and it was great. There are kind of sequels, prequels to it. Basically, these two, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, they did, here, I'll show this real quick. Superman for All Seasons. They've done Daredevil Yellow, which I don't have much knowledge of either of those books, but just so you know, they're a team. They've worked on stuff together. Before they did The Long Halloween, they had done each year a Halloween annual, and it was just 3 self-contained stories which are collected in Batman the Haunted Knight. Then they did The Long Halloween. They did the sequel to Long Halloween, which is Dark Victory. And a few years later, I think, just a year or two later, they did kind of not a sequel to Dark Victory, but something that's taking place during Dark Victory, which is Catwoman When in Rome. So there's all of those. I don't know if I'll ever get around to reviewing those particularly, but definitely The Long Halloween, worth purchasing. You can find it pretty much anywhere online. Just look for it. I would just get the trade if I were you. I wouldn't bother with the issues. They're probably harder to find. So let me know what you think about comic books and what comic books you like, any stories you'd like me to try to read and review, any input or information I should be giving. If you're a comic fan, give me hints and ideas to promote comic books. So until next week, I am Coffee Doug. See you later.